It's picking up pretty good. And we're live once again with my man,
Dan Zrihan.
Dan what?
Zrihan.
Zrihan. Whoa, I have to say that 3 times before I can
Just don't do it 3 times fast.
Okay, no doubt. So Dan, my man, so we're at D2DCon 2023, Salt Lake City, Utah at the Salt Palace. Holy shit. So we've been at this for a while. So Dan, tell us a little bit about yourself and like what it was like, what it's like now and how you got here.
Sure. So again, my name is Dan Zrihan. Thank you for having me on the show here.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So I've been in the door-to-door space for over a decade. I started when I was 22 years old, and I went through and really worked hard at I wanted to become the best at door-to-door that at least I could be, and I found a lot of success in that, and that led to a whole career path in the home improvement industry. Then we learn the restoration side of it, and now solar. We are actually currently a public adjuster, general contractor, and a solar company. So we kind of integrate all 3 of them with one customer.
Okay.
And we have a couple different platforms, and one is to educate the market when whether you're a storm restoration contractor and don't do solar, or you're a solar company and don't understand roofing. If you're a retail contractor and don't understand solar or the storm restoration market, we try to educate these companies so that they can maximize their lead generation, right? A lot of these companies, they're very good at generating leads, especially the older companies that have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And so we help them take that customer, identify, points of potential sales, whether it's solar or storm restoration or whatever, and educate them on how to run that process. And either we run it for them, depending on the relationship, or teach these guys how to do it.
Okay, so basically you have a platform, like a training platform. Is it something that you sign up online, or is this something where they come to your facility, or is it like a monthly, a yearly fee?
Yeah, so we're working on that kind of education system, but we're really hands-on right now.
Okay.
We'll go to a contractor's office. They'll come to our office. We'll do trainings. Again, a lot of where I'm seeing the industry pivot is on education.
Yes.
Right. Like when I go into a customer's house and I'm competing against other, let's say a solar company, and this solar company, he's telling the efficiency expert, but he doesn't know anything about window efficiency costs. He doesn't know anything about a new it's going to help reduce that and off. So there's so much education lacking in the industry.
Yes.
And so coming from being a home improvement salesperson, where I'm selling everything that you can think of for home, me a big background in every niche of the construction industry.
Right.
And so you need to, if you're a salesperson, you're going into a customer's house, you should be versed in these different areas to provide a better value to that customer, to that end user.
Like a one call does it all type of thing, and be good at all of it, not just mediocre at some of it. What I think I like about what you're sharing with me, and from what the vibe I'm getting from you, like you've done this yourself, so you're not some guy that went to and decided to go out on your own and do this. It sounds to me like you were actually in the trenches doing these things yourself personally. Right. So you have a lot of experience.
Look, I knocked the doors. I knocked myself into homes, selling everything. I started in Windows. That was kind of the start for me. And, and I real quick that when you go into someone's house, you can be anything you want to be. So I remember I was in a house trying to sell windows to a customer. This is, at the beginning of my career when I got into the home improvement inside sales.
Yeah.
And a customer says, Dan, I'd love to replace my windows, man, but my wife would kill me. I got to fix my pool. I said, what's wrong with the pool? And he said, well, I need to resurface the pool. I need to get it fixed. And I said, okay, well, I didn't know anything about pools at that time. So I'm like, well, let's check it out. I looked in the backyard. I saw that he had chips and cracks and stuff in the plaster.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so I see that needs to get fixed. I said, just give me a few minutes, right?
Yeah.
So he goes inside. I Google pool companies. I start calling people. Tony answers the phone. I say, hey, Tony, man, I'm here with this customer. I don't know very much about pools, but I need this to be resurfaced. I'm trying to sell a window deal.
Right.
And I said, how much would you charge for this here? And he said, send me a couple pictures. So I sent him a couple pictures of the pool.
Yeah.
And he says, I can do that for $3,500. It's a pool. It's 30,000 gallons, whatever. Send me a couple. Give me a price for $3,500. I said, perfect. So I was already at $9,000 on my windows. So I said, look, for $23,578. folks, it's your lucky day. We just launched our interior or our exterior division on pools. We're going to hook you up.
Yeah.
He says, man, that's a lot of money. Right. So now we go into our negotiation. I say, look, $19,995, you get windows and your wife's happy because we're going to fix that pool.
Awesome.
He said, let's do it.
Yeah.
Boom. So now I'm a pool guy.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I learned real quick that you can, when you go into someone's house, you can sell anything.
Yes.
And it's about being educated and progressive. I'm not walking into someone's house and leaving without a sale.
So for any of our viewers listening right now, what do you think? For me, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I think the biggest thing that we need to take away from what you were saying, you actually took the time to listen to him. Let's talk about that for a minute. Where do you think a lot of salespeople screw up?
They don't listen.
Right.
Every objection is the customer telling you how to sign them up.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Rejections are needed in the sales cycle.
Right.
Because then as you start to get through those objections, you start to uncover the true reason and their pain points and what they're looking for, you know, and a lot of salespeople, they try to over talk the customer, and that's not effective.
Right.
Right now, I also, on the other side, right, coming from the contracting background, I remember we were working on a room addition. It was a huge remodel, right, that I'd sold this customer. And I went to the job site with a contractor, and he's been a contractor for 30 years. So, you know, he's really good at what he does. And he's building this whole room addition to the house. And I remember that the customers walking behind the homeowner looking and saying, hey, what are you doing right there? What are you doing right there? And he turns to the customer, he says, what are you doing? And he says, well, I want it done this way. He said, dude, I'm the contractor. You hired me. Get the fuck out of my way. Well, I'm on this site. This is my property. Right. And I'm like, whoa. Like, I never heard anyone say that before, but it made so much sense to me because you hire a professional for their expertise. Get out of their way, let them do their job.
Yes.
Right. Yes. So there's two sides to it. One, you have to listen to the customer, but it's not Burger King. They can't have it their way.
Yes.
Right. Not always. Right. Yes. Like it's just like when I was doing patio covers and those kind of things, and someone say, well, I want to span this whole thing, but I don't want any beams. I'm like, it doesn't work that way. Right. You need, there's engineering and there's spans within posts that have to be there. You know, you can do beefed up glue lambs or bigger beams so that you can span a larger area, but you're going to have beams. Things don't stand up on their own.
Exactly.
It's just understanding those things, right?
Yeah.
So again, I think it just comes down to education.
Yes.
How do you educate the market, the salespeople to just go a little bit above and beyond and become that expert in the house?
Yes.
And you don't have to necessarily become perfect at everything, but have the referral system. Say, hey, you know what? You have an older AC unit. I can help you with that. I have an AC partner and they'll come take care of you. And you set those relationships up so you can differentiate yourself from all of your competition.
Yeah, man, I love that. See, in today's day and age, I feel like relationships and partnerships is today's currency, right? So I'm glad you said that because I think a lot of times, especially a younger salesperson, that those types of things would scare them. If they're in the home and they're trying to sell windows, and if the homeowner said to me like, I can't do the windows, I got to fix the pool first, I think they would have been done. But see, you were actually listening to the homeowner. You were trying to find their solution, and see, I think that's where it separates the boys from the men. Okay, so I got the golden question of the day, and I've been asking everybody this question, and the answers have been really good. When does the sale end?
Never ends. Sale never ends. And I almost think that it actually begins when the deal is signed.
That's when it begins?
That's when it begins because, look, giving a great present, like I was taught, if you want to sell a $20,000 job, you give a $40,000 presentation, right? So once you've got your presentation down and you lock that customer in, your attrition rate shows your competency as a salesperson. It's not just your ability to close business. And that's what you have to look at. If you're losing 50% of your business, and that was me at the beginning, I was a great closer because I learned from great closers. And these great closers had a high attrition rate. I didn't like that. I didn't want to go in and slam everybody I walked into their house and then they would cancel when I left. Yeah. Right. So that sale really begins once they've agreed and signed the contract. And it's not just, it's the cool down, it's the slowing down the sales cycle and really taking care of that customer for that long term until that installation is complete. And for thereafter, I say, folks, I'm going to be your contractor for life. You have me forever now, right? So
it's a relationship.
It's a relationship.
Yeah, for sure. So do you sell everybody the same? Is every homeowner the same?
Everyone's the same.
Okay.
You know, it's just like we're a general contractor, right? So as a GC, I'm going to treat everyone the exact same. I'm going to follow the laws, the regulations, the building codes, the same with this customer as I am with that customer. So it doesn't matter. right? The same thing with, now there are customizable options, obviously. No bathroom remodel is going to be the same. No window job is going to necessarily be the same.
Right.
No solar presentation, and it's based on their kilowatt usage, is going to be the same. So those will change, but the way you conduct your presentation and the steps that you follow to get to that close should be the same. You
don't think sometimes you really need to listen and other times you need to educate more?
100%.
Like you don't feel like that? Do you feel like that you need to treat, like, let's say there's 4 different types of people. Like, can you read them well enough to know which direction you need to take that conversation?
Of course.
Okay.
So there's a point in a presentation, and I'm a 10-stepper. So if you know what that is, that's from the old pace setter days. But
yeah.
So that's where I learned from guys that were at that company.
Okay.
And so I learned that having a system is very important in your sales process. But there's always room for listening to the customer, and there's room for educating the customer.
I love that.
And those are key, right? If someone says, look, I can't do this project because I need to do this thing, like I talked about the pool situation, you have to listen to the customer. If you don't, you're not going to be able to go through their objections and close that deal.
Absolutely. This has been a great conversation, man. I don't want to cut you off, but we could go on. I feel like we could go on all day long, and we have a line of people that want to come in here, but I
100%, man, I appreciate it.
I really appreciate. Make sure we get your email. That way I can actually email this to you. That way you can do with it whatever you would like to do with it. So thank you very much, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for the conversation.
You're welcome.